faces. Charlie Ray, owner of Nature's Outlet, and John Rigdon, a nutrition specialist with Nature's Outlet. And we're going to talk about some things today that are good for your health, good for your body, just good overall.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good stuff. And that's what I want to talk about, because the first thing I want to talk about is something that really interests me, and that's that belly fat burner.
I think it's funny. We got three things here. You went straight for the belly fat burner.
The belly fat burner.
Like, what's that about, right?
I just saw a commercial about it.
Well, I'll tell you, as we get older, we tend to think a little bit more about our bellies and our health and maybe how we look. When we're younger, I'd say our metabolism is moving pretty quickly. We're energetic, we're out there moving. And as I get a little older, my body, I guess, is slowing down a little bit.
It spreads out. It starts to spread out, doesn't it?
Don't use that word. Don't use that word. Spread. That's the truth. You're right about
that. That's what happens. It's happening to me. So, right. I mean, it is what it is, as my mother would say.
But let's talk about that for a moment. Weight loss and this belly fat burner. I want to know more about it.
Okay. Well, as you may know, we don't often come on TV and talk about weight loss.
No.
I mean, and when we do, we talk about changing your diet. And we still mean that. That is the way. Like, get rid of the carbohydrates, eat more protein. That is the way to go. However, every once in a while, we find something pretty interesting, and this happens to be in that category. What we found with this product is, and this is the part that everybody's going to love, is, and I'll start by saying it's not magic, okay? If somebody's out here saying they have a magic diet pill, run, because they're lying. It's a lie. So we, when we're looking at these products, we're like, okay, is it safe? Is it healthy? And most importantly, and what people want to know is, well, does it work? So this product meets all of those criteria.
One of the things you just said, is it healthy? And I think what some people are afraid of, when you're taking these medications, I call it medications for weight loss, how they interact with other medications that you're taking, and the side effects, the negative side effects.
Sure. Yeah, well, and even a lot of supplements that aren't necessarily prescription products, a lot of them have so many stimulants in them that they'll make you feel sick to your stomach.
Right.
I mean, you're talking about products that have hundreds and hundreds of milligrams of caffeine, and back in the day, ephedra and other, chemical stimulants. This is actually derived from citrus. It's a natural
fruits.
Right. Fruits. It's an extract, a special particular extract derived from citrus. And do you want to explain it a little bit?
Yeah. So, I mean, like Charlie was saying, I mean, there's no harsh stimulants in this. I mean, things that are make your heart race and make you sweat and all that stuff. I mean, I've seen people take weight loss supplements that do that, and this is much safer. You're not going to feel weird or jittery taking this, and it's because it's from food. So things like oranges, grapefruit, they extract the compound. It's called sinatrol, and it's clinically studied. And there's just some really impressive clinicals on this natural ingredient, and it's helping people lose weight. And whether they, do extra things like diet and exercise or not, I mean, they're still having success with it.
That's what gets people excited. Okay, so the clinical studies are showing that over 3 months, if you take it faithfully, you're looking at a 10% reduction in your belly fat, and you're looking at a reduction of circumference.
Almost 2 inches.
2 inches, your hips and your waist area, which is the part of fat that people are most upset about typically. And it's, the studies are saying this is without changes to diet, without changes to exercise. Now, we would encourage you at Nature's Outlet to, hey, what if you did those things too? Like, you're going to get much, much faster results. So, we don't like to think of this as just, standalone thing and don't try to do anything else. However, it helps people, I think, with motivation when, let's say they start a diet and they add this in and they get faster results, right?
So I think what I'm hearing you say, this would probably work better if you had the mindset to push away from the table too. Push away from the table and take this.
Eating less carbs, less sugar, and eating more protein and more vegetables. You don't necessarily have to starve yourself. You just need to change the type of what you're eating. And anything that you do that combines that with a little bit of exercise, and then you combine it with this product, it's a great combination.
You know, and when you talk about exercise, I hear people say, well, you know, I get up every day, I'm washing dishes, I'm working with the car, whatever, I'm exercising. But I don't think that's quite what they mean when they talk about exercising. Don't you have to burn calories?
I would say that being active is definitely good. I think actually with exercise gives us different things than what we think.
Okay.
Exercise makes us healthier. It makes us stronger. It makes us more flexible. It makes us more able to deal. Makes us less likely to fall when we're older.
Yeah.
Like a lot of great things. But what I think people get a little confused about is in terms of weight loss, it's more about diet than it is exercise. And so it's more, you can be on a treadmill for an hour and you can eat a Twinkie and you've erased the calorie difference in 20 seconds.
Understandable. So belly fat burner, that's what we all need at some point in life.
Well,
sometimes 2 or 3 times.
We've had some customers and they really like the idea that it's getting to that triglyceride fat layer that sits right in the places where we don't want it to sit.
That's bad
That's
fat.
the bad fat, and it's the stuff that's, it's one thing to target fat and burn some fat, but it's even better if it can be the unsightly fat.
And this is natural. It's natural.
Yeah, and it's actually, when you talked about healthy, it's actually an antioxidant. It has anti-inflammatory effects. So it's something that we're comfortable recommending people use on a regular basis. I will say, you have to take several pills a day, and that's important to get the good results.
3 soft gels twice a day.
Right. And so what we're doing, we've got a special, as you can see on the screen. We want people to get a chance to use this, and we want people to get enough of it to use long enough to get the results. So we're doing a buy one, get the second one half off.
Oh, okay. Well, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, we really want people to try this. We've tested this with customers in our stores, and the feedback we've gotten has been very, very positive, which we don't like to just advertise things until, and it's one thing to read marketing and read some studies, but it's a lot better when you've talked to some customers who are pretty enthusiastic about their results.
Sure.
And that's when we tend to get more excited, and then that's when we want to come talk to you.
Okay. Let me ask you another question, because I see 2 other products here. For this one that says feet and nerves, and it supports healthy nerve function in the feet, legs, and fingers. That's something, again, I'm thinking about, people that might not have a balance, or maybe feel the nerves in their fingers tingling.
There's a lot
or
of
feet.
people. Well, exactly right, Deborah. There's a lot of people, and this is something we're seeing more and more of. A few years ago, not nearly as frequently, but now, and I think maybe it has to do with blood sugar management, and people are having blood sugar problems. Yes. I think those are the people that this occurs with more frequently. They're getting these tingly feelings in their fingertips and in their feet.
Numbness.
And sometimes numbness, like
yes.
people, and it can be frightening when you sort of are walking around and you're not sure you can feel your feet, right? So it's a very disconcerting thing. And this product does pretty much addresses that issue. I'm going to let John, our science guru. Explain the details of it, because you can do a better job than I can.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, I mean, that's something that I'm hearing about more and more. It's a very common issue, this nerve pain, the pins and needles feeling, the numbness, the tingling. And there's different, degrees of that. Like it starts off, you get that tingling, and then you have numbness, and then you have pain, and you're really uncomfortable.
And sometimes that would throw you off balance, I would think.
Yeah. I mean, it just really hurts your mobility.
Eventually it can get quite painful.
Oh, absolutely.
It can be very, very painful.
I mean, the damage, can lead to surgeries, amputations, all sorts of stuff.
All kinds of things we don't want to happen.
So we want to nourish our nerves, and this is the best product that I've found for that. I mean, it's clinically studied. They're using special forms of B vitamins. They're using this really powerful antioxidant alpha lipoic acid at the clinically studied dose.
That's important.
Yeah, I mean, so everything in here, there's great stuff in here, but you've got the right amounts of each ingredient. And I haven't found a product that combines all these things together in the amounts that you need to start healing your nerves and your feet and hands and legs.
And I'd like to jump in and briefly say, that one of the things that we try to do at Nature's Outlet that makes us different is we look at the details in the formula, and we actually look at the clinical research. I mean, here's the thing. Sometimes a product will talk about how they have a clinically studied ingredient.
Right.
But they don't use the amount that was used in the clinical studies. And the reason they don't, why would that be? It's expensive, right? People don't want to pay the money to put everything they should in the product. Right. Well, we, for every company that we work with, there's probably 10 or 12 that we looked at that don't cut the mustard because they're not making good formulas. So that's what we try to do at Nature's Outlet is to the best of our ability, we're trying to put the best stuff out there so that when people buy our products, they can have more confidence that they're buying stuff that can be effective.
What I'm hearing here, with our big box stores, they just put the products out there. They come in bulk and they put it out on the shelf and it is.
They're competing on price.
Yeah.
And it drives me nuts because they will make products that look like ours. Like you almost can't tell the difference sometimes. And sometimes it might be the same company.
Right.
The product they're putting in those big box stores is a watered down, cheaped out product because they've got to compete on price against other people that are competing on price.
Yeah.
And you get to the point to where you're not getting anything. You're just it doesn't work. So that's a frustration we have. And
the good thing about Nature's Outlet, you study every product that you put in your store, and your staff has the knowledge of these products and what they can do for you.
The amount of training that our staff does is amazing. I mean, they do, we do in-store trainings. John goes and trains staff. Sometimes the staff trains John and myself. Sometimes we learn from them because they're into it. But also, I mean, with this online learning, I mean, we have, if the store's not super busy, we're pretty much spending time learning more about what's on our shelves.
And customers too. I mean, because we spend so much time talking to our customers, talking with our customers, we learn a lot from them because we have a conversation. They come in and they have a health issue. We've got really good products, but we have to figure out which of those really good products is the best one for them. And we learn a lot about, we learn what works. And that's the great thing about Nature's Outlet.
Deborah, we've had customers come in and have had great results with certain things, and they'll start talking about it. Other customers will be in the store and listen to these customers. And the next thing you know, that customer is taking the other customer around the store and showing it, shove us aside and start talking. And,
customers will sell products to other customers.
Sometimes they're the best salespeople, which is kind of funny.
Oh, sure.
But, and that's what gets me excited is when you've got customers that have that degree of satisfaction. That's what we're in business for. To see people come in that had a problem and they come back and they're like, you know what, this made a big impact in my life. Yeah. And that's exciting.
It is.
In this product, speaking of the feedback from customers, I hear within 2 or 3 weeks, they start to have very noticeable improvement in the numbness and the pain and the tingling in their feet and legs. So it's you stick with it, give it a couple of weeks, and it'll make a big difference. When
you're talking about pain, your third product there, CuraMed, which I know has been very popular for pain. A lot of people, suffer and they can't find the relief that they need. So let's talk, because I'm thinking about arthritis and, joint pain.
Back pain. Headaches even. Any type of pain.
Yeah.
Any type of pain.
So let's talk about CuraMed for a moment.
Well, sure. So we, this company we've been on and we've talked about their pain formulas. This is a breakthrough new formula. And they've actually gone head to head with Tylenol and some of these other pain medicines.
Okay.
And it worked basically as well with
Oh,
fewer
yeah.
side effects.
Mhm.
And I want to kind of pause briefly, and it's really important that people are aware of the side effects of Tylenol and some of these other
And
products.
Aleve.
And Aleve. Do you want to kind of address
Yeah,
that?
I mean, Tylenol is the #1 cause of acute liver failure in the U.S. I mean, it's not alcohol.
Tylenol?
Yeah, Tylenol.
More than alcohol.
I mean, it's there's overdose. People go to the emergency room all the time because they've taken too much Tylenol, and it's an
Right.
easy thing to do. I mean, you're in pain, you take a couple extra strength Tylenol, and then a few hours later it wears off, and you take more. Well, you do that all throughout
I've done
the
that
day,
before. I
and
know.
it's dissolving your liver. I mean,
Really?
and
Yeah.
then you turn to other things, these NSAIDs, your Aleve, your ibuprofen, all that. That's really hard on your kidneys long term. These things are fine. I mean, use
They have their place.
if you're using it under the supervision of a doctor and stuff like that. But I think the problem is, that's people's go-to when they're in pain. They go to the store and buy this when they're in pain,
Sure.
and they should be buying something like this, which doesn't hurt their liver or their kidneys or their stomach.
Well, and I think there's this idea, and I want to get people to think a little bit here. I think it's very common for people to assume, oh, it's an over-the-counter,
Right.
therefore it's safe.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
It's a drug.
it's a drug.
They're drugs.
And you will see on those products, you will see very clear warnings on those products.
Yeah, they're all warnings. Well, now let me ask you, with CuraMed, what's the difference? Is this natural?
It's made from 3 foods. So
okay.
that's
So
pretty
that's the
neat.
Mm-hmm.
difference, a big difference.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about what they are?
Yeah, so it's basically 3 spices. So you've got your curcumin from the spice turmeric, which is in your yellow mustard and in your curry powder and stuff like that. So that's one of the main things.
One of the healthiest herbs there is.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
Just a powerful anti-inflammatory. All types of inflammation in your body, it works on that.
Real powerhouse.
And then you've got boswellia, which is that's the tree that you get frankincense oil, which in the Bible, I mean that was one of the gifts,
right?
That was the gifts, yes.
Yeah,
from the
that's right.
wise men, the magi. I mean, to Jesus, that was that was such a special gift that they gave that. And then that's also a very powerful anti-inflammatory. Works on a different type of inflammation, so that's why they're so complementary. So you've got the turmeric working on inflammation, and then you have the boswellia working on other types. And then it's all mixed up in black sesame oil. And so sesame oil, the stuff you cook with, what happens is that works to help our body absorb both of those herbs a lot better. I mean, you're just much higher absorption rates. It keeps it in our body longer so it can work on the pain and inflammation longer. And it helps kind of move it around to where it needs to be. So it's just a fantastic formula.
It's natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got to tell you, so my dad, he's 76. He's a healthy guy.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he mows his own grass. He still rides a bike 20 miles
Oh, wow.
from time to time. He golfs, and he's very active. But in the last year or two, he's had in his hands, like all of his joints, it's gotten to where it's bothered him and he never complains. So when he starts complaining, something's really bothering him. He's talking about maybe he's got to give up golf. Maybe, it's starting to, he's worried about his ability to grip the club and all of that. So this product was introduced to us recently. He's a snowbird. He goes down to Florida. We gave him a sample of that product and said, well, here, just try this out. Maybe it'll help you, when you're driving your hand, When he got to Florida, he called us and he said, send me 6 bottles of that stuff right now.
Wow.
And he said, I've got one more dose. And he said, your mother has a headache, but I have to play golf today. She's going to have to figure it out on her own. He wasn't going to share. So that tells me, hey, this is something real.
Yes.
This is, and we've been passing out some samples in the store. They've got a trial size that people can buy.
Okay.
So you can get like 5 doses, and it's not, and I encourage people to do that and take a generous amount of it and see what it does.
Mm-hmm.
We've also got free literature in there. I think there's a free book.
Yeah.
So people can ask for all of those things. They're free. There's no charge to them. But this product is a game changer as far as pain control, particularly because you just don't have to worry about, side effects.
It's non-addictive. I mean,
you're actually looking at side benefits
Yeah.
because you're reducing inflammation in your body, and you're getting antioxidants which support your entire system and promote healthy aging. So it's a healthy approach to pain control instead of now some of those medicines. If your doctor's working with you, don't do what your doctor says. I get it, but at the same time, if it's a long-term thing, the longer you use a lot of those prescriptions, the more damage they're
Yes.
going to do. I mean, and we, of course, there's the opioid crisis and all that. I mean, you can see how damaging those approaches can be. So this is just an option for people that's safe and healthy.
Mm-hmm.
As we get older, when we're younger, we don't think about our liver and our kidneys. We think that, hey, nothing's going to go wrong there.
Right.
But all the chemicals that we're ingesting, not really knowing or thinking about it as we're doing it, it's damaging our body. And when you're talking about natural products, why wouldn't you change from a chemical to a natural product?
If you can get the same results.
If you can get the same results.
And that's
what
important.
they're showing.
Getting results
Yeah.
is important. Why? If you're not getting results, then you're kind of wasting time and money. And we understand that at Nature's Outlet, which is why we're so driven to focus on the stuff that works, the stuff that's been tested, the stuff that we're getting positive feedback from customers with. And our Martinsville staff is fantastic. They're super friendly.
Yes.
They will help. They love to help people. They get excited when people get good results, and they can walk you through the store. You can talk about almost any problem you have, and they'll give you some ideas to consider.
Well, I think that's a good point. Again, when you walk into a big box store, you don't have that knowledge on the floor from people that are trying to direct you to find an over-the-counter medications you think might work. Here, when you walk in, you can talk to your staff and say, look, this is the problem I'm having. Do you have anything here natural? Or what would you recommend? And they'll take you right to it.
And they get to know people and remember them. I mean, they're on a first-name basis.
Right, it's
with
an actual
their regular
relationship,
customers, so they know what they're dealing with, and it's really neat.
Well, that's important. It really is. Now, Nature's Outlet, of course, and I want to remind people, it's right there beside of I always call it the Liberty Fair Mall. And that's what most people know it as.
Commonwealth Boulevard.
Right on Commonwealth Boulevard. So it's easy access right below the health department.
I guess we're across the street from the health department.
Yeah.
Across the street from the health
So we're on the same side of the street as Liberty Fair Mall.
Yeah. So what we want people to do is just try it. See if it works for you.
Well, sure. Yeah. If you have any of these issues that concern you, and I know that a lot of people have this issue.
Why does he point to that one and look at me?
Because
I talk about it, right?
It's funny. I mean, people have lots of issues, but that's one. I don't know why. Well, I mean, I guess I can guess, but it's the one that motivates people.
You're right.
People want to look good.
Yes.
And to the extent that I used to be frustrated that people just want to look good. They don't want to be healthy. And then I kind of changed my thinking. I was like, you know what? Just work with that. Like if people want to look good, let's do that. But in the process, let's help them get healthy.
Yeah, work on it from an angle of overall wellness and,
Right.
And I think that product this time of the year is great because, we're going to be eating a lot of good food. And if you can take something that kind of, damage control while we're feasting with our loved ones during the holidays.
I do that all the time.
I mean, that's
all year
nice because it's not fair.
Yeah.
No one's gonna diet right now. I mean, and I don't blame you for that. So I mean,
Right. Well, the thing that's happening now, John, is we have 12 months a year feasting.
yeah,
Yes,
I know it.
we do. And
In
fast food.
Well, it's convenient. We're driven by convenience, and so
Yes.
am I.
Yes.
And I'm guilty of it. I mean, I like to organize my meals and prepare them fresh and make healthy meals. But there's times I'm on the road, I'm busy, and it's like there's that place.
Exactly. Let's just pull in here and pull right back out. We can eat as we go, and I think we all have that mindset anymore.
Yeah, and that's honestly, it's going to happen. It's okay to do once in a while, but if you're eating a large number of your meals from a window, or a person is dropping it on your doorstep, you might get away with that when you're younger, but you are going to pay a price.
Sure.
And so you've got to think about the you 20 years from now and treat that person with respect. And that's a lot of what we try to teach in Nature's Outlet.
I'll tell you, I really appreciate you coming on because it educates me. I hope it educates the public about what we can do to stay healthy. And if we're, worried about some of the problems that we're having, let's try to deal with it naturally.
Well, we're trying to spread good news because I know there's a lot of the other going around. And some, so the good news is, there are things you can do to make your life better. I mean, there are solutions. These things that are bothering you, like if you do nothing, most of those problems are going to get worse.
Natural, safe solutions. Yeah.
But there are natural, safe solutions, which when you start combining with some, and we're not talking about this massive, I've got to change my entire life. Just little tiny things like, I'm going to walk for 10 minutes today. Mm-hmm. Or I'm going to cook something that's a real food and not something that has a box and has 78 ingredients. Like these little tiny things over time become, what is that phrase? Little hinges can swing big doors. Yes. That's what we're about. We're trying to swing big doors with little hinges. And these are tools that can help give people faster results, help them stay motivated and solve some problems for people.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Charlie and John, for coming on today with Nature's Outlet.
Yeah. Thank you, Deborah. We always love coming down here. It's always fun.
We always enjoy talking with you.
Yep.
All right, stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment.